Hi, today for the very first episode of Book Notes, we're going to be talking about the book by the name of The Tao of Leadership by John Hyder. This is a book that was originally published in, let's see here, 1985. I came across this book in 2016. I was at a used bookstore in North Carolina. I was on a solo vacation, having just come off of a divorce and a big, upheaval of my life. And I really was neither here nor there. I was looking for some things for inspiration, and I had read the Tao Te Ching maybe in graduate school or around that time of my life. I was taking a world religions class and we were talking about Taoism. And so we did do a survey of the book by Lao Tzu. And but this book that I came across in North Carolina in this used bookstore is by a gentleman by the name of John Hyder. He's worked in group therapy for the Veterans Administration and a lot of counseling type things for leaders. So for today's book notes, what I did was I pulled out 3 of the 81 items in this book. They're all very short, a single page where you can read and ponder. Sort of a nice meditative book for daily use as a leader. And 3 of my favorites I thought I would share with you today and talk a little bit about what they mean to me, and I'll read a little bit from the book as well. So the first one, oh, also, what's really interesting is in the introduction, John Hyder talks about how it's best to read the lessons out loud because it helps the concepts become clearer. So thank you for listening as I read them out loud to help gain clarity for myself and perhaps you. And I think it might be because it was an oral teaching to begin with. And so the oracular teaching can have a different resonance than just reading. Okay. Number 8 in the book is called Water. The wise leader is like water. And I like this book because it's very simple. I think it encompasses a lot of unique characteristics that a leader has to think of water, how you have to be fluid, responsive. You're looking at where the paths are. I mean, a leader always finds a way through, much like water does. And I like that analogy when you're thinking about leadership in water, is finding that path through, finding the way to the end. He gives some examples in the book on water, but this is a quote from the book that I really like. It says, "The leader works in any setting without complaint, with any person or issue that comes on the floor. The leader acts so that all will benefit and serves well, regardless of the rate of pay." So think about that as you're moving through your leadership opportunities, because we get those when things aren't going well and we have to find a way through. That's water. That was number 8 in the Tao of Leadership. The next one I was going to talk about is number 68, opportunities. And this is interesting because growth, of course, is a sign of a healthy group. Growth is a sign of a healthy individual. And the only way that someone can grow is by expansion. And that has to be through opportunities. And the quote that Hyder uses to explain this, that I think is quite effective, given some of the situations that maybe many of us have worked in. The greatest administrators do not achieve production through constraints and limitations. Good leadership consists of motivating people to their highest levels by offering them opportunities, not obligations. That is how things happen naturally. Life is an opportunity, not an obligation. So I thought that was really powerful to be thinking about how when you want to grow your team, you need to continually offer them opportunities to which they can step into rather than trying to restrict their activities. You want to expand their activities. That was opportunities. And the last one I want to mention in this video is number 54 in the book. It's called The Ripple Effect. And it really talks about how any change starts from one location and moves outward. And one of my favorite quotes in this section by Hyder is that we have to, well, he's talking about how we always want to help other people. I mean, it's really, my desire is to help others. Your desire, I'm sure, is to help others. And it's human nature to want to help others. The challenge is that we think that we help others by controlling things that are happening externally. And what he wants to remind us of in the ripple effect is that the way we can have a positive influence on the world is by just working on ourselves. He talks about life grows from a nucleus. And the quote that he has in the book under the ripple effect that I want to share today is, all growth spreads outward from a fertile and potent nucleus. You are the nucleus. It also reminds me of the analogy, well, not the analogy, but someone saying, well, if you're looking at yourself in a mirror and you see a frown, you cannot go into the mirror and try to change that frown. You have to change it here, and then you'll see it different there. And that's a little bit about the world. If you want to make a difference in the world, make a difference in yourself. Because if we want peace in the world, we have to have peace within ourselves. I'm working towards that every day. I hope you are too. So those are just 3 examples of the 81 that are in this book, The Tao of Leadership. If it's available, if it's still being published or it's available to be purchased, we'll put a link in the description box below to help you find it. But please leave me a comment if you have questions, if you'd like to have a longer discussion on these types of books. I'm open to considering that as well. Have a great day, everybody. Welcome to Book Notes.